What's happening, everybody? It's me, Allie Burns from Picks and Parlays, here to talk some college hoops on this Wednesday, November the 26th. This game is going down at 9:30 Eastern tonight. We're talking the Southwest Maui Invitational. Number 23, NC State is taking on Texas. The line on this one, we got NC State at a -3.5. Totals a 160.5. And here we go. So when I started my cap on this, I really thought I'd end up on NC State, and I didn't. I ended up taking Texas plus the 3.5. And this is a video about why. Right. So couple things we have going on here. So NC State, let's just get the basics out of the way, right? NC State's a 5-1 team. Their only loss of the season was 2 games ago to Seton Hall in this tournament. They were a 7.5-point favorite. They lost 85-74, so 11-point loss. And that game did go over a 143.5. Up next, they played Boise. That was yesterday, 11-25. That was Tuesday's game. And they did cover the 6.5 on that one. Not Houston. Texas, on the other hand, has lost twice this season. Their first game of the year was against Duke, and they got blown. I think it was like a 15-point loss. It wasn't pretty. But then, they're playing their little schools. They're playing their nobody schools. Then they run into ASU, Arizona State University. That was their second loss of the season, 87-86, 2 games ago in this tournament, just like NC State, right? So they both lost 2 games ago. A big difference here, though, is that in their next game in the tournament, NC State played Boise and Texas played Chaminade, right? And they smoked them, as they should, 119-78. So I feel, NC State played an earlier game against tougher competition. Texas played a later game, but against easier competition. And that ASU, that was a tough matchup, because now we're going to jump in to coaching. All right. Texas's head coach is a guy named Sean Miller. You guys might remember him from 2 major schools. He was at Xavier for a while. Then he was at Arizona for a while, for like a long while, and did really well there. Then he went back to Xavier. Now he's at Texas. He's a first-year coach at Texas. So that ASU game for a former Arizona Wildcats coach was going to be a heated one, in my opinion anyway. I know it was years ago, but that stuff lingers. I mean, if I remember it, what are the, if I remember Sean Miller at Arizona, what are the chances that Arizona doesn't remember them? Also, I think just a fun fact that Duke is who beat Texas and Sean Miller, and then Bobby Hurley, who played for Duke, you guys know he's my favorite, is the coach of ASU, and he beat them too. Duke's got your number, Sean Miller. What you think about that? Okay, so let's flip over. We got better coaching. Let me get some. I made some little notes on him. 5-time Pac-10, Pac-12 regular season champion, 3-time gold medalist in USA basketball as a player, an assistant coach, and a head coach. He won Coach of the Year. So he's a big guy. He does big things, right? So let's flip over to a guy named Will Wade. Where's his little button? There we go. So Will Wade, now I know who Will Wade is, but most of the betting basketball public might not, because he came from a place called McNeese. Before he was at McNeese, he was the head coach of Chattanooga, VCU, LSU, and then McNeese, and he won 2 Southland regular season titles there in 24 and 25. So that just happened. And now he's a first-year head coach here at NC State. So he's got a lot to prove. And he's really kind of, he's back up in the big leagues. He used to be with LSU, VCU. Now he's back up in those big leagues. There's a couple things, the reason I was kind of leaning NC State is they've got this kid, I can't really say his last name, Terrence Arsenault, something like that. Very French. He's a transfer out of University of Houston. He has had an Achilles tendon issue for the first 3 games. In the last game, he finally showed up, and Coach Wade had to give him a talking to on the sidelines and was basically like, I'm over it. Either play basketball or sit your ass on the bench. And I think that's quote exactly what he said. So that guy did show up. Terrence showed up, the transfer from Houston, to play. He had 11 points, some rebounds, some other stuff. I know he did get in a little bit of turnover trouble, but whatever that little speech was lit a fire under his bum. And now a kid who's from Texas is playing against Texas. Here's the thing, though, you've kind of been like riding the bench with an injury, and then like you get talked to and you have a breakout game. And granted, you are playing Texas in this tournament, but I just can't put all my eggs in that basket. Like, how sometimes when I call it tripping over your own dick, right? When you're like feeling yourself and you're on top of the world and like, I'm the bomb. And then it doesn't work out for you. You kind of tripped over your own ding-a-ling there because you thought you were doing so good. I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen in this one. And I feel like Texas is going to show up. Another really big factor that I like here is that NC State's a ranked team, and when you're an unranked team, but you're a good unranked team like a Texas is, especially with a good head coach, you want to beat those ranked teams, right? You want to pull them down. So I think that's just like a little bit extra motivation for Texas here. So that's the way I'm going to go. I'm going to go Texas plus the 3.5 points. I don't even mind a money line on them, but I'm not going to. Like I'm going to stay off of that. As far as the total is concerned, I was actually looking for a little bit more of an under because they have played so many schools, but that are like not that great. It says they're averaging 93 at NC State. They're averaging 89 at Texas. The total at a 160.5 is a high total. And I think it's high for a reason. So it's like I had this plan to go NC State and under, and I've switched it to Texas and the over is basically what's happened to me. Because in the big games, right, this is a big game. It's an NC State and a Texas. So this is like competition games. When NC State plays Seton Hall, it was 159. So right on that 160 mark. The ASU game with Texas it went over. I can't do the math this fast right now. So I was kind of thinking this could be an over spot. But again, that's just a lean. Okay. I do think they're going to come after each other. I do think overtime is a possibility here. That's kind of why the line is close together. So over is what I would lean, but my official pick for the show is Texas plus the 3.5 points. If you want to sprinkle that money line, I am not mad at you. It's a better coach, a more experienced coach, especially in these kind of tournaments. And he's got a little grudge going on right now. If you guys want to see any more of me, you can find me on X at Plus Money Honey. But most importantly, follow us at Picks Parlays on X. Give the video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. And if you guys are looking for any more free plays, right at Picks Parlays, you can find, I did Vanderbilt. Oh, that already started. Vandy in Western Kentucky already started. I'm about to do St. John and Auburn also. So make sure you're ringing that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the free picks coming your way. Also later on today with Dre Rich, I've got Thursday night football player props, and Dre Rich is super good at player props. So keep your little peepers open, give the video a like, and I will see you guys a little bit later with more free picks from Picks and Parlays. Good luck, everyone.